just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
Dad, see me on TV, some punk ass bitch, yo.
Puff jumped off the bar, came on and said, yo, Cassie, tomorrow, I want you to shave the side of your head.
I hope they forgive me for what I did with Diddy. I hope they forgive me for what I did with Diddy. Real street nigga forever. Bitch, I'm the king of Philly.
What's up, yo? Coming here live from London. Extremely humble, grateful, and blessed.
Torture, mind games. I don't think any of us have healed from that.
A fourth woman is now suing music mogul Sean Combs, claiming he sexually assaulted her when she was just a teenager.
He fired me.
Why?
I wasn't willing to do what was expected of me. Not talent-wise, but in other areas.
Diddy Combs has been hit with another lawsuit just as he settles his first.
He started punching me on the side of my head.
Joy Dickerson-Neal claims that she was a victim of revenge porn.
He stomped on my stomach.
Woman claims the president of Combs Bad Boy Records picked her up when she was just 17 years old and still in high school.
Azalea Banks also stands with Cassie, claiming once Diddy beat her up so bad he sent her on a 3-week vacation to Hawaii so no one would see.
The woman claims that Combs and others got her drunk and then took advantage of her before putting her on a plane back to Detroit.
It's over. The details of Cassie's 35-page lawsuit are explosive. She claims in 2012, when she started dating Kid Cudi, Diddy threatened to, quote, blow up the fellow rapper's car, and the vehicle later exploded in his driveway.
Yo, what it is, people? We is back. Another day on Keep It G News. And they are, I got a question. Did he do it? Did he did? And before we figure that out, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like, comment, share, we getting busy. But y'all see what's going on with Diddy, man. This made news probably 2 days ago, but in this video, we're going to talk about it all. That's why I had to take y'all through the beginning. Not, all the way in the beginning, but when the downslide of Diddy first started happening, it was a series of lawsuits, 6 lawsuits came down on Diddy within a year or so. And I told y'all in my last video, I talked about Diddy, what was going to happen, even though I didn't think it was going to happen this soon. Now, Diddy hasn't been arrested yet. And you notice I said yet. But I still think, before the final conclusion of all this, they're trying to break Diddy. Diddy ultimately sold his shares in Revolt. He don't own Revolt no more. He already sold his shares, I think, in one of them liquor companies. Y'all see what's going on, man. I don't know if this is a money grab or they really trying to send him to prison, but we're going to find out probably within the near future. But I took y'all through them clips in the beginning so y'all can see some of these people, some of the allegations that Diddy had going on. You heard from Jack. You heard from one of the Danny Kane members. Then you got a few other anonymous people that haven't been brought to public that accused Diddy of master manipulation. Because let's be honest, y'all, that's what this really is. This is a person of power, a person of influence, exerting his influence and power over another person or over a group of people. And it gets sickening. You understand? Especially when you listen to the allegations that Lord Rod placed on Diddy.
Agreed to a settlement. Now, as with most settlements, it was confidential. We do not know the terms. Ventura released the state. I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support. Alleging sexual assault, harassment, and an illicit criminal enterprise. This lawsuit by Jones is 75 pages. It lists out 15 separate causes of action. The lawsuit is against Combs, his son Justin Combs, various associates, and entities like Chalice Recording Studios, Love Records, Motown Records, Combs Global Enterprises, and Universal Music Group. Throughout his time with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones witnessed, experienced, and endured many things that went far beyond his role as a producer on the Love album. Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to record him constantly. On several occasions, Mr. Combs took Mr. Jones's cell phone and began recording himself. As a result, Mr. Jones has secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in serious illegal activity. Now, Jones says that those videos show drugs like ecstasy and cocaine, the displaying of unregistered firearms, Combs spiking drinks for minors and sex workers, Combs' son Christian drugging and sexually assaulting a woman, and even a famous actor sexually harassing and assaulting Jones. Claims that Combs repeatedly and intentionally groped his private parts without his consent, that this happened in L.A., New York, Florida, the Virgin Islands, and that Combs also continually forced Jones to be in his presence while he was naked and showered. Jones says that this resulted in severe emotional distress and anxiety. Jones argues that he was working for Sean Combs under an implied work-for-hire agreement. He states that he was, quote, forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts to the pleasure of Mr. Combs. On or about February 2nd, 2023, Mr. Jones believes Mr. Combs drugged him. Mr. Jones recalls waking up naked, dizzy, confused. He was in bed with two sex workers and Mr. Combs. He also recalls aimlessly wandering around the house with no clothes on. Quote, as part of Mr. Jones' sex worker recruitment tools, Mr. Combs provided Mr. Jones with an exclusive bad boy baseball cap and required him to wear it to Booby Trap on the River, that's a strip club, as a signal to any sex worker he approached that Mr. Combs was in town and had sent Mr. Jones to recruit them. That Combs would use his power and influence to threaten and intimidate Jones. Quote, Mr. Combs would often switch up his approach. He would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones's face and inform Mr. Jones that he is willing to kill his mother, Janice Combs, if he must, in order to get what he wants, so he wouldn't think twice to harm Mr. Jones. Jones said that Combs would show off his guns, that he would brag about shooting people. Now, Jones claims that with all of this, he was terrified. He was terrified and claims that defendant Christina Coram, Combs' chief of staff, is like Ghislaine Maxwell, the former associate or madam of Epstein, who was convicted of her own sex trafficking-related charges, serving a 20-year prison sentence. For instance, when Jones went to Coram to report Combs, she allegedly said, quote, you know, Sean will be Sean. And Jones said that Coram made sure her assistants kept Combs high. She made sure that all the employees would readily carry around drugs for Combs whenever he wanted them, and that included forcing Jones to carry a drug pouch. Jones alleges that Combs, his son, various associates, and companies like Motown, Combs Global, Love Records, UMG, that they were all part of a criminal enterprise, namely making money by forcing and threatening people like Jones to transport drugs and guns, soliciting minors and sex workers, making music without properly paying them, to enrich themselves financially and sexually at the expense of producers and musicians like Jones, engaged in mail and wire fraud to carry out this scheme. It alleged that Combs and his associates participated in and furthered a sex trafficking venture by forcing and threatening people like Jones and minors to engage in commercial sex acts. He also alleges that UMG and Motown and these entities, well, that is why I mentioned before the fear component that Jones brings up. It is so important, the idea that he was threatened, he was afraid to come forward. That's why you hear a lot about this in the lawsuit. And these allegedly secret recordings from Combs' homes that he allegedly
had.
Now,
before the Lil Rod allegations broke mainstream, you had Cassie. And I'm going to keep it real. I said this on a live video when I first talked about it, so if you're saying it on that first time, they more than likely got it from me. I think Diddy, and by him selling out that time when he had the Cassie lawsuit, I think he dropped the ball. You know, I don't know who he had around him that told him that was a good idea, but that showed weakness. And if I'm being real, I think that might have just been not a sign, but let's just see. You know, let's throw this out there. Let's see if he bite. If he bite, we got him. You know, because once you accept liability, even though they said they didn't, but if you paid out, you accept some level of liability, you open the floodgates, and the gates flooded. It flooded so high that they end up raiding Diddy's house behind
Story everyone is talking about today. The feds raided homes in Los Angeles and Miami that belong to rap mogul Sean P. Diddy Combs. And tonight we hear those raids are linked to possible sex trafficking.
Homeland Security agents converging on the home of Sean Diddy Combs.
Now, officials confirm the raid is tied to a sex trafficking investigation.
There are new questions this morning after federal agents raid 2 homes owned by Sean Diddy Combs. Agents armed and wearing tactical gear entered the mogul's estates in Los Angeles and Miami yesterday.
Breaking news, the Department of Homeland Security has just confirmed to CNN that federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs.
Security teams have raided 2 homes associated with Sean Diddy Combs. One of those homes is here in L.A.
Fox 11 was first on the ground.
They got the armored vehicles in the driveway.
And in the sky as heavily armed federal officials descended on Sean Diddy Combs' Holmby Hills mansion. The raid, led by Homeland Security, is allegedly tied to a federal sex trafficking investigation. Neighbors say the heavy response seemed unnecessary.
We're surrounded by $50 million mansions.
Skyfox was overhead as some people were detained and held outside. It's still not clear where the rap mogul was at the time of the raids. His Miami home was also stormed in a similar fashion.
During these 2 court-authorized searches, electronic devices were retrieved.
More people coming out. Who's this guy? Yeah, they're all kind of dressed
Definitely. We came right in the middle of the convoy of about 40 undercover law enforcement vehicles before they even put up the crime scene tape. The Department of Homeland Security making a big bust, officers say, in connection to a sex trafficking investigation. While it was all happening, investigators were also raiding his home in Miami. Homeland Security has not yet released details or named Diddy as the focus of the investigation.
This is video of Sean Combs yesterday in Miami, shortly after news broke of the raids. The rapper known as Diddy, seen pacing shortly after federal agents seized his phones at an airport before a planned trip to the Bahamas. Miami police say they also arrested Brendan Paul, who is charged with cocaine possession. A civil lawsuit names Paul as one of Combs' associates. Homeland Security investigations agents descended on his multi-million-dollar Los Angeles home yesterday. They could be seen carrying out boxes and bags of evidence. In Miami yesterday, a similar scene. HSI agents seen taking away evidence, including a laptop. Searches, which lasted into the night, were based on search warrants filed here by the Southern District of New York. One lawsuit updated just yesterday by a New York artist named Rodney Jones. He alleges sex trafficking, drugs, guns, and inappropriate abuse of minors were all part of an organized enterprise, with some of the activity allegedly taking place at Combs properties.
I mean, I never saw reoccurring girls outside till 6 in the morning. But this house always had it. I drive by a lot, and I see that a lot of girls, maybe 5 or 6 girls outside, some leaving, some not, some going in, black Suburbans. Never know. I never thought anything of it, but now.
There have been rumors like this for years, for decades, about this kind of behavior from him. I don't know whether they're true or not. You know, yes, he could be an unpleasant person. That is widely available on video. A lot of really successful people can be. Innocent until proven guilty, one would hope. I would say he has just about the strongest possible legal team representing him, and frankly, he can afford it.
Investigators stayed at the Holmby Hills home throughout the day as media outlets from all over the world gathered and celebrity tour buses continually passed by.
Leave Puffy alone, man. Y'all crazy.
Diddy house get raided. He got all these allegations. He actually had to get rid of the shares of Revolt. I think he jumped out of the liquor business. Like, Diddy has a lot going on. You've seen him pacing back and forth in Miami. He hasn't been arrested. Some people don't think he is going to be arrested. I'm just saying we going to see. But what pisses me off about this whole Diddy thing, and y'all know me, I'm normally the guy to say, yo, hold up, yo, I don't like how they doing him, yo, but with Diddy, these rumors been around his name for so long. It's just like, yo, goddamn, yo, you can't really defend the indefensible. You feel me? And how I look at it, yo, as a black man, yo, you should never be involved in anything of this nature at all. This is not our type of things that we do. even with money, yo, we don't involve ourselves allegedly in sex trafficking. You understand? That ain't what we do, yo. Especially if you got money, what is you doing that for? You can have any woman in the world freely. You understand? Just with the perception of she might get a bag. You ain't even gotta really give her no money. So I think, to be honest, same thing they had going on with Epstein. When it comes out of these guys and they have these powerful guys and they got money and they can do whatever they want, I think they just get bored. And I think it get to a point where they want to see how far this money can take me. How much can I get away with? But what they got to understand is, just like you getting away with all these things, these people are jotting down. They keeping notes. So whenever you cross them on any level, in any capacity, they're going to bring it all back up. And I think that's what we saying from Diddy. You know, and I see people saying, you know, it's always the black people, they take you down. I'm normally the one saying it. But with Diddy and his history of doing what he do, you understand? I can't get behind that, yo. I can't stand nowhere close to that, straight up. And I can't defend it. And I won't defend it. You understand? Now, what I can say and what I will say is that I don't like the police presence that they had on Diddy. I don't respect it. You know, we done seen a number of indictments. We done seen Harvey Weinstein. We done seen Trump. We done seen Epstein. We ain't never see this level of police presence. Some people think it might have been a play. You know, some people think it might have been a show. But who knows? I know they spent a lot of money in exerting this much force or bringing this much force on Puffy. Had his kids detained for a minute. And at that time, I was saying, yo, Puffy better not allow his kids to go down. Because, you know, at first people were saying that he was out of town. But kind of find out he wasn't. I mean, not out of town, but out of state. But his plane was. And on their plane, they end up finding his alleged drug dealer. They called him a mule. I don't know why they used the mule word. Maybe that's, you know, I don't know. I call him a drug dealer. Look like a drug dealer to me. But what pisses me off, even when it come down to that, is, yo, why do every time we got these black males, I'm going to say, because that's what we dealing with, and they got a lot of money, why they always go to that man to get their drug? Like, yo, it's a million people that would have loved to get Diddy money. You understand? I'm sure this dude made so much money off Diddy, he ain't never had to work a day in his life. That was his job, 9 to 5. You understand? Or 10 to 10. And he's seen a lot of money, so much money that he was on a goddamn private jet. Why he couldn't bring another brother into this? I don't understand that. That's why I can't really get behind Diddy, even with that. Like, yo, how you gonna deal with Joe when this niggas all around the hoods in America getting, you know what I mean? You can rock with them, but he rock with Joe. And then you got Young Miami is now being accused of trafficking with Diddy of something called pink cocaine. Pink cocaine. Have y'all ever heard of that? I feel that people get themselves in these type of jams, and then when they in these jams, they be upset when the people turn on them. But it's like, yo, you turned on us for even involving yourself in something so crazy. You understand? Young Miami too. Like, why would you get so close to a person, like I said in the video when I talked about Meek? Like, yo, you can't get mad if your name tied into this person when you was actually around him. You shouldn't have had nothing to do with him. The rumors was enough. The rumors that been around Diddy name for years was enough for a person like me to say, to stay 10 feet away from him at all times. I don't want no parts of him. You still over there, I'm still over here. If I got to go over there to get a certain level of success, I would never get it. I promise you, I will never get it, and I will sleep good at night knowing that. But this is the details. This is what Diddy got going on right now. He hasn't been arrested. They still investigating. Some people might believe, or some people say that, you know, he ain't going to jail. You know, they just came there to clean up. Who knows? We'll see. Because I guarantee you, this is not the end. This is not the end of Diddy in these allegations. They're going to keep coming because ultimately, I still think it's a money grab, and he got the money to fight, and I think they're going to try to make sure he don't have that money to fight. That's why when you hear Lil Rod and some of his allegations, he talk about the fact that they was trafficking, you know. There was money laundering. You know, that's just a key word to freeze bank accounts. But Diddy probably got some money laid up somewhere, laid back in the cut. If he's smart, he do. I don't think he a dumb man. He accumulated this much success over the years. I just wish he'd have did it smarter and stayed away from the nonsense, because that's not something that we ever really supposed to be involved in my opinion. But I want to know how y'all feel about this in the comments. What's up with Diddy, man? Did he do it? Did he didn't? Is people upset, or do people believe that us as black people need to be riding for Diddy, or is this indefensible? You know, I say it all the time, yo, you can't defend the indefensible, and I think this is one of them situations, but I could be wrong. But let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. It's another day, keep it G News.
Nigga can't do what I do, y'all niggas can't copy me. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep the shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G.